Alright guys, Midwest Raider coming at you with another video. Real quick, kind of want to explain a little Q&A session on the ProReck 3000, 3200, put some things out there that I need to get out and put it all together in one video. Hopefully it's quick, but can't guarantee anything because I like to rattle on. So let's jump right in. First, good news, ProReck 3200 Club, ProReck Club 3200. Which is this guy right here with the let's see, the vertical arrays here. It is currently out of stock and it's not on the website, it's not on Amazon or eBay anymore, and everybody was asking me what's going on. Well, they are just out of stock. It's not discontinued or anything. They are going to get it back in stock. I got word from the company. I don't work for the company or anything, but they gave me word finally saying that it's just out of stock and they're hoping within the month to get it back. So the end of June, beginning of July, hopefully they'll have that unit. $569. You get two of these, the poles, two subs, one powered, one passive, and it's an all-inclusive unit. And I have a review out there for it, so check it out if you guys are interested. So hopefully within a month they'll get these bad boys back in, and it's a very good system. Both of these are good systems. This is the 3200, this is the 3000, but both of them are good systems in their own way. So check those videos out and put that all together. But I wanted to get that out to you because that was a big question. What happened to the system? What happened to it? It is just out of stock, not discontinued. They will put it back out, hopefully within a month. I can't guarantee anything. That's just what they told me, but I brought it to you guys. All right, next thing. I had some questions from some people on some various videos that I made, and I want to just address them here. No question is a bad question, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I just have a little bit of knowledge, and I'll just explain it in the easiest way I know how, which is very like baby talk. That's the best way I explain things, and so I don't get technical at all. I never have. So I'll just explain it the best I can. So somebody asked me about powered and passive speakers. Very easy. A passive speaker is just a speaker that needs power. It needs wattage. This is a passive speaker. It just has two connections here. It doesn't have a cord. You don't plug it into a wall. It has no amplifier on it, so you have to hook this to an amplifier. The best way I can say that is just like your home theater speaker, where it just has the speaker wire connection on the bottom. You have to hook this to your receiver, and then it powers the speaker, and then you hook whatever into the receiver and it powers the speaker and plays your music. So the best way I can explain that. So this is a passive speaker, no power to it already. A powered speaker is like this guy right here. You have to plug it in, and this speaker, you can just hook your source right into the speaker. So if you had, like a guitar or, your MP3 player, whatever, you could technically plug right into this, and it has its own volume, and then you could use this speaker on its own. You just plug it into a wall, has its own amplifier, it's matched. So this amp is made for these speakers. It'll power them with the watts it needs. Real quick on this speaker, so say this is a 100-watt speaker, kind of like car audio. If it's a 100-watt speaker, you want to get a 100-watt amp, or close to it. I could talk about headroom and all this other stuff, but I don't really want to get into that. So usually you just want to be close to it. So say this is a 100-watt speaker, you want to get a 100-watt amp. Okay, that's the best way I can explain that. And the next question they had was passive and array speakers, since we're talking about with the ProRecks. This is your typical two-way cabinet speaker. So it has a horn on the top, power horn or tweeter on the top, and a woofer on the bottom. So two-way. You got your highs, a little bit of your mids on the top, your bass, and a little bit of mids on the bottom. So your two-way speakers, typical two-way cabinet speaker, and this cabinet speaker. And so was the other one that I showed. Now your arrays, the best way I can explain that is these have 4 individual speakers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can actually take this apart. You can see I'm moving that one. You can take these apart, and there's 4 individual speakers, and they're stacked in a horizontal way, and so then you got your array speakers. So that's why they're calling these arrays, and these are full range, so they have everything. They have a little bit of bass, mids, and highs, and they'll play on your 4 speakers. These ProRecks actually have a tweeter and a power horn on them as well, so not only are you getting your full range, you actually have a tweeter on them too, and a port. So that's why I like these, because they sound so crisp and clear when you're using them for PA and for karaoke and that type of thing. I don't know if the port really helps, but because they don't have a lot of bass, but they're very nice speakers. This is more of your typical array speaker. This one's in the vertical, and it's 2 speakers, but it has 4 full range speakers in it, and it's stacked. So this is an array speaker, and as well, just 2 different. This is vertical, this is the horizontally stacked. And these are pretty common. If you go to a stadium or a concert, you see all these speakers stacked like this, and there's be tons of them. So this is kind of like a compact version, and it's technically an array speaker. So kind of the difference between an array speaker and your typical two-way cabinet. So 2-way cabinet array speakers. So that's the difference. Not really big. And another difference is the way the music coming out. So your dispersion pattern. So on your arrays, you're going to get a very wide dispersion pattern. So I'd almost say 180. So almost like your whole room dispersion from the front. On these guys, wherever you point these, it's kind of where your sound's going. They're going to be more like this. So wherever you're pointing these, this is where your sound is going to go, okay? And these, you're going to get a very wide pattern. I'm not 100% sure on 180, but really very, very wide pattern, and better than the 2-way cabinet. So that's just the best way I can explain that for cabinet speakers and array speakers. And then we talked about your powered and your passive speaker. So passive, you need an amplifier. Powered, it's its own amplifier and powers itself. Now I think the confusion on the ProReck 3200 and the 3000 is that I have the 3000 behind me right here, is that not only is it a powered subwoofer, it actually powers other speakers as well through the plate amp that it has. So it's an all-inclusive unit. So it's an amplifier and a powered sub, and you can run things, and it has EQ. So it has a lot of things going on. And so not only is it powering the sub inside of it, it will power another passive sub, which needs the power, right? And power your 2 speakers, your 2 arrays. So I think that's kind of why it is an awesome system, because it does it all on its own. So not only can you power your 2 speakers, your 2 cabinet speakers, or your 2 arrays, it'll power another subwoofer as well, and that's passive. So, and I'll show you that real quick. Some people are asking about the connections here. So I know that's not very great, but so you can hook up here, you can hook up like an instrument or a microphone, whatever you'd like, right into the system if you don't hook it up to your controller or your mixer. This middle one here will power your other subwoofer. So the middle one will power your subwoofer, which would be a passive subwoofer like this guy. See, it just has the plug-in. And then also, say this purple wire, that's what's going to power your left speaker, and then I don't have a plug-in right now, but your other one would come here, and then that would power your right speaker. Okay. Or, you know, vice versa, left or right. But so technically the way I'm looking at this is your left side, this is your right side, but it's going to power all your stuff, and it's all into this one unit. So that's what's cool about the ProReck, is it's all inclusive. It also has an EQ, volumes, sub volume, has all kinds of things, added features to help you out. All right, guys, so it's kind of what I got. Wanted to make this video quick and easy. I think I got everything out there. Powered, passive, array speakers, cabinet speakers. Depending on what ProReck system you're going to get, you might get the one that has the subwoofer poles. If you bought the 2 speakers and the 2 subs. If you just bought 1 sub and 2 speakers, you're going to get the tripod type speakers like I have on this side here. So you're going to get a tripod and your array speaker. And then, like I said, this is a 3000, this is the 3200. So depending on what system you got, depends on, you know, if you're getting tripods or if you're getting the subwoofer pole mount. So that's kind of that information and a little bit kind of how you're going to hook it up. So I got all that out. The other thing somebody was asking me was a DMX intro video. Now, I don't really mess with DMX a lot when it comes to lighting, so I'm not the best person to ask. The most I do with DMX is link lights together, and that's relatively easy. Just take this guy. It's a moving headlight, moving pin spot, but it actually has a wash light and a pin spot. But you see it says DMX in, DMX out. So I'll go from the out, say on this one, to another light like this, and I'll link them together. And that's probably the most I do. And then I'll go into the settings on the front, and I'll make, this will be the master, and my second one will be what they call a slave or a copy. And that's just what they call it. You'll use this type of cable here. This is regular XLR cable. And then I'll link them together, so they'll both be moving at the same time in unison together, and the same colors and all that kind of stuff. You could also, on your very last one, or sorry, your first one on the in, you could go to what they call a DMX controller, which I don't have. Like I said, I should get into that a little bit more, but I just don't use that stuff a lot. I'm kind of old school, and I just use Sound Active and that kind of stuff. But eventually, I would like to get into that a little bit more, but I'm not doing, you know, giant light shows and stuff. So, but anyways, on that DMX controller, you could control like what colors. You could change colors. You could preset, you know, little different light, the way the lights move. Movement of on my moving lights, you could actually adjust movement and stuff like that. You can do all kinds of different things on these controllers depending on what kind of controller you have, and you can control the lights kind of through the DMX cable. So that's kind of a little brief summary of that, but like I said, I'm not the best person to ask. There's a lot of videos out there that probably help you better than I can, because I just don't use them a lot. Like I said, the most I do is I'll just link 2 lights together, or a couple pars together for some uplighting in the back or something, that way. But other than that, I don't mess around with that too much, guys. So sorry I can't answer that better, but that's just my little knowledge on that. So I think I went through all that. I talked about the ProReck 3200. Hopefully in a month that'll be back on the market, and you'll be able to purchase that if you guys want. So like I said, I'm not affiliated with the company at all or anything, but that's just the information that they gave me, that it was only temporarily out of stock and they were trying to get more in. So that's good information for you guys out there. I think that's all I got, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm Midwest Raider on YouTube and DJ Martini Midwest, DJ Martini Services as well, if you guys check that out on Facebook. So thank you very much for checking out my video. Hopefully I answered all the questions I could, the best I could. And like I said, I have a little bit of knowledge and I just try to share the best I can in the easiest words to explain it that I can. And I just don't get too complicated, and I just want to make it easy for everybody. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. So talk to you guys later.